Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the channel. I'm Mrs. Brayman, your hostess. First, I would like to welcome all the new listeners and subscribers and remind everyone that if you haven't subscribed and clicked the bell notification, please do. Then you should be alerted when we post a new message or video. And as always, please feel free to leave your comments and questions in the comment section below or on our community page. Well, let's get started with today's message. For several weeks, we have been discussing the who, what, when, where, why, and hows of honoring the Lord through our marriage and family. We have extensively discussed 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3, speaking about headship within the family, Titus 2, concerning the qualities of a sound church, which includes our families, and 1 Peter 3, pertaining to husbands and wives' personal relationships. Last time, we began discussing some practical ways that we may follow the scriptures and live them out in everyday life. This morning, while making breakfast and praying, I was thinking about my husband. I said, Lord Jesus, I love my husband. And then I stopped. I said, Jesus, why do I love my husband? I didn't have a good answer. My first thought was, because he loved me first. That made me laugh and think that probably only applies to Jesus. In 1 John 4:19, it tells us that we love him, Jesus, because he loved us first. Well, I brought this up with my husband at breakfast. And first I said that I had an odd question for him, and he looked kind of puzzled and said, "Go ahead." So I came right out with, "Why do you love me?" His answer was swift and lovely. He didn't hesitate one bit. He said, "You make me a better man. You complete me." I felt like a heel. I explained why I asked him and about my prayer, and I let him know that I know how I love him, but the why I love him didn't come so easily. So I said, because you loved me first, and he went on to say that was partially true because of our first date. I wrote him a song about it a few years ago for one of our anniversaries. I'll read you part of it so you'll get an idea of how clueless I really was. When you asked me directions to that dance, I wasn't sure what to say. So I offered, if you gave me a ride, I'd show you the way. I didn't have some secret code to break like a lot of women do. I just needed a ride to the dance and gave directions to you. We arrived at our destination. You helped me out of the car. The trunk popped open. I didn't know what for. I felt fear wash over me when you handed me that bouquet. And as I looked at your handsome, smiling face, all I could think to say is this a date or something? Those words echoed through my mind. I thought for sure I'd lost you, that you'd never be mine. Is this a date or something? How pitiful to ask. I rode to a dance with a handsome man who said he couldn't dance. I chuckled because I see how pitiful I was. I did want him to ask me out, but I didn't realize that was the time. Well, by the end of our discussion this morning, I had an answer for my husband. Why do I love my husband? Because he loves Jesus. If he didn't love Jesus, I couldn't love him. We are together because of Jesus. Jesus made me for my husband and vice versa. We are one flesh, covenant keeping, and bound for eternity. So, how is this a practical way that we may follow the scriptures and live them out in everyday life? When Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 3, no, sorry. In Song of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 4, we read, I found him whom my soul loveth. This is quoted from the King James Version. So, the one whom my soul loveth is the one whom Jesus made for me. and made me for. I encourage you to think about and pray about why you love your husband or wife. Tell them, show them. It does say in the scriptures that we are to be ready to give an account when someone asks us when talking about our faith. But I thought of that this morning and I said that to my husband in our conversation, like, we should be able to give an account if somebody says, well, why do you love your husband or wife? If we don't have a good answer, they're not really going to believe us. And that will leave wiggle room for Satan to get in there and have some sly characters coming around trying to break things up. And that is not something that we want. So, to protect ourselves and protect our families, we really need to be able to say, hey, I love my husband because, hey, I love my wife because. It will protect us, it'll protect our marriage, it'll grow our relationship stronger, our family stronger. And that's how we'll live the scriptures in our everyday life. And it looks like we'll be coming back next time to continue discussing more practical ways that we can follow the scriptures and live them out in our everyday life. But I want to thank you all for taking the time to stop by, spend some of your day with us, and please share this information with others and tell them about the channel, excuse me, and our series, Honoring the Lord Through Our Marriage and Family. I'm guessing we'll have a couple more weeks maybe of this and then finishing up with a week or maybe two of vocation. And then we'll move on to another series. So please keep that in mind, and I'll put updates in the community page. So please look there and see what's going on. As always, you are in our prayers.